In this video, we dive into the recent developments as big oil celebrates a significant policy shift with the Trump administration's decision to open vast areas of America's lands and waters for drilling. We'll explore the implications of reversing offshore drilling bans and redrawing national monument boundaries, while also examining the executive orders that directly promote fossil fuel interests. Despite the seemingly favorable environment for the oil industry, questions arise regarding hesitations and anticipated legal challenges. Join us as we unpack the potential environmental impacts, public opposition, and economic considerations surrounding this controversial topic amidst ongoing global climate commitments. 1. Reversal of offshore drilling bans. One of the most striking moves by the Trump administration is the lifting of offshore drilling bans. This decision has opened up over 625 million acres that were previously shielded under the Biden administration's policies. The vast expanse of these waters now available for exploration has been likened to unlocking a treasure chest for the oil and gas industry. However, this development is not without its critics, who argue that the environmental risks outweigh the potential benefits. Offshore drilling has been associated with oil spills and marine life disturbances, igniting heated debates about the balance between economic gains and ecological preservation. The lifting of these bans marks a pronounced shift in the U.S.'s approach to natural resource management and energy policy. 2. Redrawing national monument boundaries. The Trump administration's proposal to redraw national monument boundaries stands as another pivotal component of its energy strategy. Areas like Bears Ears and Grand Staircase Escalante in Utah are under consideration for boundary modifications to facilitate increased energy production. This move has stirred controversy, as these lands are rich in cultural and historical significance, not to mention their ecological importance. Critics fear that altering these boundaries could lead to irreversible damage to these treasured landscapes. The debate centers on whether the potential economic benefits justify altering areas that hold deep cultural and environmental value. Redrawing these boundaries is more than just a line on a map. It represents a fundamental rethinking of how public lands are valued and used. 3. Executive orders promoting fossil fuels. President Trump has signed a series of executive orders aimed at undoing previous environmental regulations to promote fossil fuel extraction. These orders are designed to accelerate oil and gas drilling on public lands and waters, reflecting the administration's focus on energy dominance. The executive actions have been met with mixed reactions, as supporters tout them as necessary for economic growth, while opponents see them as short-sighted. These orders have dismantled protections that were put in place to safeguard the environment, leading to heightened concerns about the long-term implications for air and water quality. The use of executive orders underscores the administration's commitment to rapidly advancing its energy agenda, even in the face of significant opposition. 4. Industry hesitation despite policy support. Despite the administration's strong push for increased drilling, some oil companies remain hesitant. This caution stems from market conditions and investor expectations, which prioritize profitability over mere production growth. The oil market has experienced fluctuations, leading companies to tread carefully in expanding their drilling operations. Investors are increasingly wary of committing resources to ventures that may not yield immediate returns, prompting a more conservative approach. This hesitation highlights a disconnect between policy ambitions and market realities, as companies navigate the complexities of an ever-changing energy landscape. The industry's cautious stance illustrates the challenges of aligning government policies with business strategies in a volatile market. 5. Legal challenges anticipated. Environmental groups are gearing up to challenge the Trump administration's actions in court, arguing that the rapid policy reversals may violate environmental laws and procedural requirements. These legal battles are expected to be fierce, as conservationists seek to uphold protections that have been in place for years. The legal challenges underscore the contentious nature of these policy changes, as opponents argue that due process has been overlooked in the rush to expand drilling. These lawsuits could potentially delay or even halt some of the administration's initiatives, adding another layer of complexity to the unfolding energy policy saga. The anticipated legal challenges highlight the deep divisions surrounding the direction of U.S. energy policy. 6. Potential environmental impacts. The expansion of drilling activities poses significant environmental risks, raising alarms among conservationists. Increased greenhouse gas emissions, habitat disruption, and the heightened risk of oil spills are among the primary concerns. These potential impacts threaten to undermine efforts to combat climate change and preserve biodiversity. The environmental risks associated with expanded drilling have fueled opposition from various quarters, as stakeholders weigh the consequences of prioritizing fossil fuel extraction over environmental stewardship. The potential for ecological harm is a central point of contention in the ongoing debate about the merits of the administration's energy policies. The environmental stakes are high, prompting calls for a more balanced approach to energy development. 7. Public opposition. Public sentiment reveals a significant portion of Americans oppose increased drilling in protected areas. Polls indicate that many citizens favor renewable energy development over fossil fuel extraction, reflecting a growing awareness of environmental issues. This opposition is rooted in concerns about the long-term sustainability of fossil fuel reliance and the desire to transition to cleaner energy sources. The public's stance on these issues highlights the growing divide between government policies and popular opinion. As awareness of climate change and environmental degradation increases, the call for a shift towards sustainable energy solutions becomes louder. The public's opposition serves as a potent reminder of the need to consider diverse perspectives in shaping energy policy. 8. Economic considerations. The Trump administration argues that expanded drilling will create jobs and boost the economy, yet critics contend that the long-term economic benefits remain uncertain. While increased drilling could lead to job creation in the short term, the environmental risks could offset potential economic gains. The debate centers on whether the immediate economic boost justifies the potential for long-lasting ecological damage. Critics argue that investing in renewable energy could provide more sustainable economic growth, aligning with global trends towards cleaner energy sources. The economic considerations of expanded drilling are complex, as stakeholders weigh the trade-offs between short-term gains and long-term sustainability. The economic arguments for and against expanded drilling remain a contentious aspect of the broader energy policy debate. 9. State-level resistance. Resistance at the state level has emerged as a significant challenge to the administration's offshore drilling plans. Several state governments have expressed strong opposition, citing concerns over the impact on tourism and fishing industries. States along the coastlines are particularly vocal, as they fear that drilling could harm their economies and natural resources. This state-level resistance highlights the tension between federal energy policies and regional interests. The pushback from states underscores the complexities of implementing a national energy strategy in a diverse and decentralized political landscape. The resistance from state governments adds another layer of complexity to the administration's efforts to expand drilling activities. 10. Global climate commitments. The decision to expand fossil fuel extraction contrasts sharply with international efforts to reduce carbon emissions and combat climate change. This move could potentially affect the U.S.'s standing in global environmental agreements, as it signals a departure from commitments to curb emissions. The administration's focus on fossil fuels raises questions about the U.S.'s role in global climate initiatives and its willingness to lead in the transition to sustainable energy. The expansion of drilling activities highlights the tension between national energy policies and international climate goals. The implications of these policy shifts extend beyond domestic borders, affecting the U.S.'s reputation and influence on the global stage. The tension between domestic energy ambitions and global climate commitments remains a critical issue in the ongoing discourse on energy policy.